Hey, how's it going guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out the next episode of the 100% walkthrough guide for Death's Gambit. In this episode we will be covering Aldwyn, which is a relatively low leveled area. However, we choose to do it in this order. Not only will it make this area a lot easier, having already done the Observatory and the Eldritch Council, there's simply no reason to do this area any earlier because you can't continue forwards until you have all three of the sigils. So if we come up here, we're going to find the first of the kind of difficult to get items on top of this archway. The way to get this is simply climbing up to the top of this ladder. Jumping off the top, you can do an aerial attack or an air dash and try to land on top of it. It may take you a few attempts to get your hands on this. If you want to kind of just cheat, you can do the item jump, which simply consists of picking up the item on the exact same frame as where you jump to get an extra sort of boost, and this will allow you to climb up the top and grab the item, which is going to be the moss shield, just in case you want to see if it's worth doing that or not. If you want to be 100% legit, don't do that. Just sort of jump off a few times until you finally get it. Once you're at the top of the ladder, if you come over here to the right, there's going to be this sniper aiming at you. The legit way I believe of doing this is actually trying to dodge and using the enemies as cover, and she'll shoot the enemies instead of yourself. However, you can get decent at just simply iframing her attacks if you know when the sniper bullet is coming through. So you can do that however you see fit. If you do manage to get across without getting hit, your reward will be the haste ore inside the golden chest for not using any phoenixes. You are allowed to get hit. I should definitely phrase that properly. Bait this enemy into the trap, simply dodge the second one, and if we backtrack over here to the left, we'll pull this lever, and this will unlock a shortcut back to the beginning of the level. This is the area where we did the dodgy sort of jump. So now we want to go back here to the right. Now I've unlocked that. The traps will obviously already be down, so no need to worry about those. And a little bit further right, we are going to find one of these oh so scary gold Drake Knight enemies. Do a bit of a better job than I did of defeating him, whether it be with parries or simply spam him with the swarm. But hopefully you shouldn't die against him. Luckily enough, these enemies don't respawn, so definitely try to kill him. At least that way if you do die, afterwards you don't have to deal with them every time you come past this area. Also, straight below where the Drake Knight is, we're going to find the first Tome of Auriga, which is going to be the boss of this area, as you can probably imagine. This is the sniper boss, who has become pretty famous over the internet since the game's release. So up here we're going to find a sorceress enemy. Straight up ahead, Fink can be a bit of a dick here, and if you let him run off into the explosive barrels, he will destroy the outer, which obviously prevent you from using it. So continue into the next area, and we're going to get another plume. This is most likely going to be quite a bit worse than some of the ones we've already obtained, because like I said, this is a relatively low area. But if we've been to the observatory and stuff like that before, we're going to have better plumes than that. So continue a little bit further forwards, take out the another sorceress, and here we're going to be ambushed by a shield enemy that jumps out behind us, as well as two crossbow enemies. The reason you can't just charge these two crossbow enemies is because there's two spike traps if you look carefully on the ground right in front of them. So be very careful with those, and then head inside the next building we can see here. Inside this building, to the right, there will be another two crossbow enemies we need to be careful with. These aren't too complicated to take out as there's no spike traps. If we jump up here, there's going to be a sunstone, which we make the huge mistake of going back for. That was not really worth it, because now we get caught out by these. But that's fine. Take out the priestess and then jump up to the top. At the top, there will be two of these poison blobs, followed up by a spear enemy, and here we're going to find the second Tome of Auriga, so that's both from already obtained. And now for the sort of only secret item in this area, you've got to jump out of the roof of here and into the roof of the next door building, and we'll be able to get this gold chest if we haven't used any phoenix feathers. And this is going to be the Bow of the Damned, and that is probably the only item you're most likely going to miss here. It's the only sort of well-hidden item, I would say. So now we've got that, we can head outside from the bottom floor, and we'll notice we're a little bit further along because we did jump from one building to the next. So if you want to backtrack real quick to make sure we're not missing anything, there will be another gold Drake Knight. Luckily we do a bit better job of taking this one out than the previous one. So once we've killed that one, we can backtrack a little bit further, and we can see the door we originally went through, and here there's also going to be a tunnel to go back down into the sewers slash Rider's Passage, whatever you want to call it, the place that connects everything together. And down here we can rest up. So you can use this as a save point, just in case we die or we want to get our feathers back. Remember that the gold Drake Knight enemies don't respawn, so we're not really missing out on much. Once we get to the top of the ladder, we want to continue heading right, walk past the doorway we came out of last time, and here we're going to have another shield enemy, followed by a priestess enemy again. Take both those out. Just always remember that the balls always come back to where they was cast from, so be careful with those. Then come inside this next doorway. To the right of the doorway, there's going to be an enemy ready to ambush us. Straight above us, we're going to notice that there's a barrel. Inside that barrel is actually going to be another enemy waiting to ambush us, so be careful with him. Preferably attack the barrel before he gets a chance to. Up to the top left, we're going to have another Leaf of Gaia, which already is handy to have enough of. In the darkness, there's going to be one more enemy waiting down here to ambush us, as well as the church basement key, which is the main reason we came inside this building. This is going to be a very important item for something we'll see in just a second in the next area. So once we come back outside, this will respawn the crystal lizard in case we missed it on the first time entering this screen, and that's going to drop us our 5 soul stones as usual. Take out these 2 priestess enemies. Again, very straightforward. Just be careful with the sort of backlash of their attack as it will return. As soon as you enter the church, you want to drop down and use the church basement key we obtained from before. Once you're down to the bottom, we'll get the phoenix, we'll get the feather upgrade, which is obviously going to be really handy, as well as a secret sort of save point. This is going to be great because the boss is very, very close, and having a save point this close to the boss is going to be obviously really useful. So level up, do what you need to do in preparation for the next boss fight. Though at this stage, this boss shouldn't be too complicated considering how powerful we should be at this stage in the game. And this is our first encounter with Origa. Don't worry, you won't have to fight her quite yet. This is sort of just her introduction and a little bit of her story. So continue past this sort of chapel painted room, and if you want to enter this room at the top here, this is just so you guys know that if you die against Origa, you will be locked in that cell. Just so you have a mental reference of approximately where you are once you get out of that cell. It's simply one room further back. So this is the area we'll be fighting the boss in. She takes a bit of a warning shot there just to let us know what's going on. And if we walk a little bit further forwards, this will initiate the boss fight. Like I said, at this stage we're going to be doing so much damage to her, it should be pretty easy. As far as how the boss mechanic works, occasionally she'll go in the background like she is at the moment, and this laser will sort of be put on us. This is her trying to shoot us with the sniper rifle, as it did halfway through the level at the beginning of Aldwyn. They say the way you're supposed to dodge this is by standing behind some of the gravestones, and it will block the shots. As you see, it kind of does work sometimes. But others, as you can clearly see here, we're trying to do it, and it doesn't work. And quite honestly, I sort of gave up trying that after like 2 or 3 attempts, simply because it's so easy to dodge her sniper rifles by just learning the timing of it. The best way I've found of dodging this very consistently is simply, like I said, you want to jump and air dash when the laser goes about as red as it gets. It may take you a few times to get the hang of the timing on it, but once you do, it becomes a lot more consistent than just trying to rely on these tombstones. Once she lands, just check out what part of the screen is illuminating white, and that's what side she's gone to either turn invisible to try to snipe you, or to try to heal as well. So chase her down. Pretty easy boss fight, to be honest, and after that, there's not really much more to say about this level. After this short dialogue you have with her, there is one more item we need to technically collect, though it's pretty much unmissable. After we've had this short dialogue with her, we want to continue to the right, and here we'll see Ione. We'll get this short, beautiful cutscene of the final citadel, which is Kael Shirai, along with the enemy forces just waiting there, covering Endless. So after we've seen that, we can head back to the previous room where we fought Origa, and she will actually hand us over the final sigil that was missing. So we have all 3 sigils. So now we have all 3 of the sigils. We want to jump down here into the sewers, and you'll notice you're just to the left of the lift that brings you up from the Eldritch Council boss fight. We only have 2 more areas left to cover in this series, so I hope you did enjoy this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more content, and we will see you next time.